Hello students, welcome to my channel. I am Karishma Singh and today we are going to do the new poetry of Flamingo, that is an elementary school classroom in a slum. I hope you will enjoy today's session. This beautiful poem is written by Stephen Spender. He was an English poet and essayist. He was born on 1907. Without taking his college degree, he left his college and took a keen interest in social and political problems of his time. As a social reformer and pacifist of his time, he questions the value of education and the moral and ethics of individuals. He has written so many poems like The Age of Being, The Creative Element, etc. Let me introduce you to the poem. In this poem, the poet describes the social inequalities which are prevailing in the society. He describes the condition of the students of an elementary school, which is situated in a slum area. He expresses his thoughts on the widening gap between the rich and the poor. The poem widely brings the miserable condition of the children and the inadequate educational facilities provided to them. The poem talks of racial discrimination and is a social proclamation that a country can prosper only if education reaches to the downtrodden in the society. So now let's go through the poem. Far, far from gusty waves, the children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease. His lesson from his desk at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet, and young. His eyes live in a dream of a squirrel's game in tree room. Other than this, on sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudlets at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, Bailed, flowery, Tarolis Valley, open-handed map awarding the world its world. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, were all their futures painted with a fog. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, caves, and stars of world. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slowly turn in their cramped holes, from fog to endless night. On their slag heap their children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel, with mended glass like bottle beads on stones. All their time and space a foggy slum. So blot their maps with slums as big as doom. Unless the governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows then shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break, oh break, open till they break the town, and show the children a green fields, and make their world run azure on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into books and white and green leaves open. History, their whose language is the sun. Let's summarize the poetry. The poet Stephen Spender visits a school in a slum area and he was shocked to notice the miserable condition of children studying there. Even the condition of the children was scurvy. He says, these children are far, far away from the gusty waves, from the lap of nature, from the enjoyment of nature. It means the face of the students is far, far away from gusty. So what is the meaning of gusty? Gusty means strong and energetic. And it looks like rootlets weeds. So why the poet is comparing the children to rootlets weeds? Because weeds are some unwanted wild plants grown in our paddy fields. They are called rootlets because they are not welcomed by us. We try to pluck them out. These children of slum are also like these weeds, unwelcomed and unwanted by the rich world outside their slum. Then poet is describing children present in class. So first he says of a girl who is tall and sitting with her bowed down head. So why she is sitting like that? Maybe she was overloaded and overburdened with the difficulties and struggle of life, or she is exhausted and tired. Secondly, he mentions another boy who is light-weighted like paper and his eyes is like rat's eyes. So why the poet is telling his eyes is like rat's eyes? Because rat's eyes are small and scared of world outside. The boy is in search of something. So what do you think, children? What he was searching? Maybe food, shelter, or a better life that he can't get in a slum. Third, the poet is talking of a boy who is reciting a lesson from his book and he is having twisted bones. Perhaps he is affected with some genetic disease. Poet calls him unlucky here because he got nothing from his parents except poverty, struggle, and a genetic disease that is carried on generation to generation and a life in a slum. So through all these children, poet tries to present the hell-like life of slum children with no hope and future. At the same time, poet says of a boy who is sitting on the back of the dim classroom, whom no one noticed. Mentally he was not present in the class. He dreams of a squirrel game in trees. He dreams of nature, life and energy. Squirrel games here represents nature and life outside. This unnoticed boy represents a ray of hope and life in the dark and dull classroom. The unpleasant walls of the classroom are decorated with the donations and the picture of Shakespeare. The walls are called unpleasant because they are off-white in color and show the decayed life of the slum. They are unpleasant because there may be some rotten smell coming from it because of unrepaired condition of the walls. The picture of Shakespeare on the wall suggests the literate world outside. Other pictures hanged on the wall includes a picture of a clear sky at dawn, flowery valley of Austria, along with the doom of an ancient civilization representing hope, enjoyment of nature's beauty and progress of human civilization. Poet says the rich people pretend to be generous to these children by donating these things to them. But in reality, there is no relevance of these things to the world of slum. The children of slum are limited to the world of their window, to the world they see through the windows of the school classroom. Their future is foggy, uncertain, dull, and bleak. They are confined to the narrow streets of the slum, enclosed by the polluted sky. They are miles away from the rivers and seas that indicate the adventure and enjoyment of nature. They are also far away from wisdom. They can empower their future because there is no relevance of the real life in slum to the world depicted in the photos. Poet calls it wicked. Poet calls Shakespeare wicked because Shakespeare through his writing enlightened whole world, but unfortunately for these children there is no hope of entering into that enlightened world. So poet calls him wicked. He calls the map a bad example because that map does not hold any place for these slum children. They can just aspire to be there but can't afford to live there. There is no means to go to that world. They are just cruel temptation for these children. They may steal or commit crime to achieve them, so they are called bad examples. These children's lives are confined to the narrow holes of the dark slum. Even their fate conspire them to imprison them. They live lives of uncertainty since morning to night, and their condition turns from bad to worst. The lives of these children are compared to the slag heap because they are like wastage of refined educated society that is dumped in garbage. Explaining their undernourished condition, poet says their bones peep through their skin. That is, they are so skinny because of malnutrition that we can count their bones through skin. They use spectacles not for luxury but because it's their necessity. They use mended glasses, cracked and steeled frame. They can't afford a brand new spectacle, so they manage with repaired one. They live a life of hell, confined to their uncertain, unhealthy, polluted slum. They are like a blot of strain in the progress of civilized life. There is no coordination between the civilized world and the world of children in the school in a slum. So, poet asked people from all spheres of life, governor, inspector, teacher and visitor, to come forward and educate these children so that they can fill the gap. These people must consider the lives of these children as their lives, only then there can be a change. The slum is an enclosed space like internal part of a grave that is dark and suffocating. So, poet urged these people to break through the miserable and hopeless condition of the slum children and let them see green fields. They are asked to expose the slum children to nature and hope, where they can breathe in open air that is unlimited just like rest of the world. He also asked them to educate and let open and go wild through pages of wisdom so that they can master them. He says, one who can read and write, only he creates history. One should possess the strength and brightness of sun, only then he can create history. Here, poet wishes to break all kinds of social bonding and inequalities to create a better world. So let's come to the theme of the poem. So the theme of the poem is the plight of poor children living in slums. He wants the life of slum children be changed. He wants their poverty to end. He wishes them to live in healthier, hygienic and beautiful environment. He wants their future to be bright and full of hope. According to the poet, their lives can only be changed if governor, teacher, inspector, visitor and people do more to help them. Mere paltry donation won't solve their problems of poverty, illiteracy and backwardness. The rich people and the government will have to do more for them. Thanks for watching my video. If you like the video, press thumbs up button. If you have any query, please tell me in comment box. If this video is really helpful to you, so please share the video to all your friends. Thank you so much.